In 2025, something surprising is happening online and in real life. Americans, who used to barely talk about Southeast Asia outside of vacation spots like Thailand or Bali, are suddenly talking about Malaysia and, more interestingly, about Malaysians themselves. Social media threads, travel vlogs, digital nomad groups, even Reddit discussions are filled with stories of Americans saying, "Malaysians are some of the nicest people I've ever met," or, "I could actually live there." What's behind this sudden fascination? It's not just about beaches or cheap travel anymore. It's about the people, the way of life, and how Malaysians have quietly built something that feels deeply human in a world that's growing colder and more divided. When Americans talk about Malaysians today, the first thing that always comes up is kindness. Many visitors describe a warmth that feels genuine, not forced. It's not the customer service smile, it's the kind of everyday politeness that catches people off guard. Americans who move or travel to Malaysia often say they feel seen in a way that's rare back home. You can walk into a small cafe and someone will ask about your day, not because they have to, but because they actually care. And this hits differently for people coming from a society where everyone's always rushing and social interactions often feel transactional. In Malaysia, friendliness feels like part of the culture's DNA. There's also something Americans can't stop admiring: Malaysia's ability to balance modern life with old-fashioned decency. In big cities like Kuala Lumpur or Penang, you see gleaming skyscrapers and world-class malls sitting next to food stalls run by families for generations. People use contactless payments, drive electric cars, and work in tech startups, yet they still greet each other with smiles and share food like neighbors did decades ago. For many Americans, that's a reminder of what they feel their own country has lost: a sense of community and humility even in the middle of progress. The American fascination with Malaysians also has a deeper layer. There's this cultural calmness that foreigners feel the moment they arrive. Malaysia's society, built on a mix of Malay, Chinese, Indian, and indigenous cultures, somehow makes diversity look effortless. Americans, who've been struggling with racial polarization and identity politics, find it striking that Malaysians live together with this quiet respect. They eat each other's food, celebrate each other's holidays, and even though tensions exist, everyday life still feels cooperative. Many Americans who visit during Ramadan or Chinese New Year say it's eye-opening, the sense of shared celebration, how everyone comes together regardless of background. There's a viral TikTok trend now where Americans compare Malaysian hospitality to what they experience at home. One popular clip shows a foreigner getting offered free durian by a vendor because it was his first time trying it. Another shows a group of locals helping a lost tourist find her hotel and even paying for her Grab ride. These videos have millions of views because they show something that feels rare in today's world: spontaneous kindness without expecting anything in return. Americans watch this and comment things like, "Imagine this happening in LA," or, "This feels like a different planet." Economically, Malaysians have also become a talking point in American business circles. In 2025, Malaysia is one of the fastest-growing economies in Asia, quietly attracting companies that are leaving China for more stable ground. American investors notice how educated, English-speaking, and tech-savvy Malaysians are. The country's young generation is ambitious but grounded. They speak perfect English, code, design, and trade crypto, yet still go home for family dinners. For Americans burned out by hustle culture, that balance looks ideal. Many say Malaysia feels like the middle path between the West's stress and the East's discipline. Tech workers in Silicon Valley have started praising Malaysia's new startup ecosystem. Kuala Lumpur, Cyberjaya, and Penang have become magnets for AI, semiconductor, and green tech industries. But Americans aren't just impressed by infrastructure, they're impressed by attitude. Malaysian entrepreneurs are described as humble, collaborative, and less ego-driven. In interviews, American venture capitalists say it's refreshing to meet founders who care about solving problems, not just becoming famous. That kind of sincerity is winning hearts. Then there's the lifestyle envy. Americans can't stop talking about how affordable and comfortable life in Malaysia is. For a fraction of the cost of living in California or New York, you can rent a modern apartment, eat out daily, and still save money. You can enjoy city life without the noise and chaos. Digital nomads post videos saying things like, "I pay $600 a month for a condo with a pool and gym," and people in the comments can't believe it. Malaysia's cost of living has become a viral topic on Reddit and YouTube. Many Americans who've moved there say they feel richer not just in money but in time, peace, and happiness. But what really fascinates Americans is that Malaysians are proud but not arrogant. They don't constantly boast about their country. They just live their lives, and the world notices. When floods happen, you see ordinary Malaysians rescuing strangers with boats. When tourists get stranded, someone's always there to help. There's this quiet heroism that feels authentic. Americans, who are used to dramatized news and self-promotion, find that humility refreshing. Even Malaysia's food scene has become a symbol of its people's generosity. Street food culture shows how Malaysians value sharing. Hawker stalls sell incredible dishes for just a few dollars, and each meal tells a story of cultural blending: Malay nasi lemak, Chinese char kway teow, Indian roti canai. American travelers love how every bite feels like a conversation between cultures. Food brings people together, and in Malaysia, it's not fancy, it's family. That sense of belonging is something many Americans say they miss. On social media, you'll find American influencers making entire videos just about how Malaysians treat foreigners. One influencer said, "I dropped my wallet in KL Central, and before I even noticed, a local man chased me down to return it." That doesn't happen in most big cities. Stories like that stick because they highlight the human side of Malaysia. Americans are realizing that what makes Malaysians special isn't just politeness, it's integrity, warmth, and balance in a world that often feels extreme. At the same time, there's growing admiration for Malaysia's intelligence and discipline. American educators have noticed how Malaysian students perform well in math, science, and languages. Universities in the US report that Malaysian students often stand out for being respectful, hardworking, and adaptable. They bring quiet confidence to classrooms, the kind that doesn't shout for attention but earns respect. That's making Americans rethink stereotypes about Southeast Asia. In 2025, Malaysia has also been praised for its political stability. While many countries struggle with protests and polarization, Malaysia is seen as relatively calm and pragmatic. Americans, tired of political noise and media battles, are drawn to that calmness. They look at Malaysia and see a place that's not perfect but functional, where people focus more on living than arguing. That subtle difference is powerful. There's also the tourism side. Americans are visiting Malaysia more than before, but what surprises them is how different it feels from typical tourist countries. It's not just beaches and resorts. It's authenticity. You can walk through a local night market, talk to people, and feel like you belong. Malaysians don't treat foreigners as outsiders. They treat them as guests. That's an ancient cultural trait. Tetamu means guest, and guests are treated with honor. Many Americans say they feel safer walking in Malaysia at night than in their own cities. That sense of safety combined with warmth is a major reason people keep talking about it. Another layer is Malaysia's modern confidence. The younger generation, Gen Z Malaysians, are globally aware, creative, and proud of their roots. They speak fluent English, make viral TikToks, start businesses, and engage in climate activism, but they also respect tradition. Americans watching them see something rare, a generation that's modern but not lost. In the US, there's often a sense of cultural confusion among youth. Malaysia shows that it's possible to move forward without forgetting where you came from. Even celebrities have joined the conversation. Some American YouTubers and musicians who visited Malaysia in 2024 and 2025 posted videos saying they felt at home because of how welcoming the people were. A few compared Malaysians to small-town Americans, friendly, honest, and grounded, but living in a much more vibrant setting. That comparison has gone viral because it feels true. Malaysians have small-town hearts but big world vision. And then there's Malaysia's unique sense of humor. Americans love how Malaysians can laugh at themselves. Comedy skits, memes, and daily interactions show that people here don't take life too seriously. In a world full of outrage, Malaysians use humor to stay calm. For Americans living under constant online tension, that attitude feels freeing. They admire how Malaysians can talk about differences, make jokes, and still respect each other afterward. Behind all this admiration is something deeper: gratitude. Americans traveling abroad often feel they have to defend how they're seen, but in Malaysia, they're simply accepted. No judgment, no superiority, just warmth. Many expats say they've rediscovered humanity there. They talk about how a random conversation with a Grab driver or a nasi lemak seller gave them life advice they'll never forget. Those small moments leave a mark. Even in American media, Malaysia is gaining quiet respect. Articles now highlight how Malaysia handled inflation better than some Western countries, how its economy stayed stable while others stumbled, and how it managed to modernize without losing its cultural soul. Americans respect success stories built on balance, and that's exactly what Malaysia represents: ambition without arrogance, progress without chaos. In many ways, Malaysia is showing Americans what they secretly crave: community, calm, and kindness. It's not just about tourism anymore, it's about values. Americans talk about Malaysians because Malaysians remind them what human connection feels like: neighbors who help, smiles that mean something, and society that still believes in respect. As more Americans visit, work, or retire in Malaysia, they return home as unofficial ambassadors, telling their friends that Malaysia isn't just beautiful, it's good-hearted. They talk about how every interaction, from a hawker stall to a hospital, felt personal. They say Malaysia isn't just a place to see but a way to live. That message spreads fast online because people are desperate for examples of kindness that don't feel forced. So when Americans can't stop talking about Malaysians, it's not just flattery. It's admiration rooted in comparison. They see what Malaysia has: warmth, harmony, respect, and realize how much their own world has lost. Malaysians didn't chase attention, they earned it by being themselves. And that's why in 2025, across YouTube, TikTok, and travel blogs, the quiet charm of Malaysian people has become one of the internet's loudest love stories. Malaysians have become proof that you can modernize without losing your manners, succeed without losing humility, and welcome the world without fearing it. And for many Americans watching from afar, that feels like hope, a reminder that kindness still wins, even in the modern world.